You call me beautiful human, but you haven't seen what I am beneath the armor. The alien woman stood over the field of broken metal and ash, her tall figure casting a long shadow against the burning skyline. Her armor, black with red etchings like veins, shimmered faintly under the twin moons. She looked like a demon forged in fire. Fierce, untouchable, flawless in form and movement. Her name was Kalith of the Skarn Dominion, a name that made many humans flinch. She was a war commander, a symbol of alien fury. And right now, she was injured, stranded, and very much at my mercy. I had found her among the wreckage of the final battle. Her breathing labored, her arm limp, blood dripping steadily from beneath her shoulder plate. She didn't move when I approached. She just stared at me, golden eyes narrowing. "You came to finish me, human?" she asked, voice rough from smoke. "No," I said. "I came to help you." Her laugh was dry, almost cruel. "Help your enemy?" "I've stopped seeing you that way," I replied. I expected her to spit at me or threaten me, but she just looked confused, like no one had ever said such a thing to her before. Her breathing slowed. Then, as I crouched to stabilize her wound, she whispered, "You're a fool." "Maybe," I muttered, applying pressure. "But I'm a fool with a medkit." I brought her to an abandoned bunker beneath the mountain slope, one the recon team hadn't cleared. No patrols, no drones. Just her, me, and the silence of the aftermath. Days passed. She never told me to go, but neither did she thank me. We existed in a strange, tense truce. I tended her wounds, shared my rations, even gave her the last thermal blanket. And she tolerated me. It wasn't until the 5th day that she spoke again, really spoke. "You stare at me," she said. I blinked. "Do I? Like I'm something precious." "You are." She looked at me for a long time, armor cracked and smeared with dust, hair clinging to her face, eyes sharp even in weakness. "I am Skarn," she said. "I have burned cities, broken warriors twice your size." "I know." "Then why do you call me beautiful?" I hesitated before answering. "Because you are." Her jaw clenched. Her fingers tightened on the hilt of the blade. She still kept by her side. "You call me beautiful human, but you haven't seen what I am beneath the armor." Her voice trembled, not from fear, but something deeper, something fragile. "Then show me," I said softly. She turned away, jaw tight. "You say that now," she murmured. "But once you see, you will run." The next evening, I returned to the shelter with scavenged supplies. She sat by the wall, her arm brace freshly tightened, her armor still gleaming in the firelight, but her expression had changed. Resolved, determined, without a word, she stood. I watched as her fingers reached for the clasps on her chest plate. She paused, then slowly began to remove the armor that had defined her for so long. First the gauntlets, then the heavy shoulder pieces. The breastplate followed, revealing a dark bodysuit clinging to her form, scarred and torn. And then, finally, she unsealed the helmet and pulled it free. Her hair fell around her face like a curtain of ink, long and wild. Her skin, no longer cold and polished like the armor, was marked with scars and thin lines of violet beneath the surface. Traces of battle, traces of pain. Her jaw was square, strong. Her eyes still glowed faintly, but not with fire, more like sadness. "This is me," she said. I looked at her, really looked. The years of war were carved into her face. Not ugly, not monstrous. Just real, honest, worn by survival. She stood there, trembling slightly, like she expected laughter or disgust. Instead, I stepped closer. Still beautiful. I whispered. She blinked rapidly. "You're lying." "No," I said. "I'm not. You're more beautiful now than ever." She exhaled sharply, like she had been holding her breath for years. "I was told beauty was only strength," she murmured. "Only power." "That's what they told you," I said. "But maybe they were wrong." She looked down at her arms, at the jagged scar running from elbow to wrist. "These," she said, voice raw, "these are proof I failed." "No," I said, "they're proof you survived." She looked at me again, her golden eyes wide. Then she reached for me, not as a warrior, but as something else, something gentler. Her hand touched my cheek, hesitant at first. "I don't understand," she whispered. "You don't need to," I said. "Just feel." That night, she stayed close to the fire. No armor, no weapons, just her and the flickering glow. Her shoulders seemed lighter without the weight of war, her voice softer. She told me stories of battles won, of family lost, of what it meant to be Skarn, how she had been raised to never show weakness, to never remove her armor in front of anyone, not even kin. "I showed you," she said, "and you stayed." "Of course I did. You are strange, human." I smiled. "You say that like it's a bad thing." She didn't laugh, but she leaned her head against my shoulder, and for the first time, she closed her eyes without fear. Peace came slowly to the galaxy. Treaties were signed. Wounds were tended. Skarn and humans began talking. Not always kindly, not always honestly, but talking nonetheless. Kalith was offered a place back in her dominion, a general's seat, a palace of stone and shadow. She declined. Instead, she stood beside me in the neutral zone, where rebuilding had begun, where former enemies worked side by side. "Do you regret not going home?" I asked her one night. She looked at the stars, arms bare, face open and unguarded. "No," she said. "For the first time, I think I am home." People stared when they saw us. A human soldier and a Skarn commander, walking side by side, sometimes laughing, sometimes just silent. They whispered, questioned, but she no longer wore her armor. She didn't need to. She had learned what I already knew, that what lay beneath was not a monster or a weapon, but a woman. Scar, powerful, kind, a survivor, and beautiful, always